A woman was trapped in the Alps for 3 years by an invisible wall. The wall was invisible but tangible. She hit it with a car, but it didn't react. Outside the wall, there are 2 elderly people who stand completely still, as if they were dead. But unlike corpses, they show no signs of decay. The woman spent 3 years exploring the entire Alps and never found any way out. She climbed mountains and dug holes, but nothing worked. Meanwhile, other animals could come and go freely, while she was trapped behind this wall that appeared out of nowhere. That day, the woman was invited to the Alps for a vacation, along with her colleagues and a dog. Upon arriving at the cabin, the colleagues prepared for a walk, but the woman stayed behind. Next morning, she found her colleagues missing. She urged her dog to lead her down the mountain. The dog cried and froze. The woman called, but the dog ran away. She felt an invisible barrier, smooth and solid, connected to the mountain. Terrified, she searched for another exit and found a cabin with an elderly couple. But the dog froze in place, too scared to move forward, as if something terrifying was ahead. The woman kept walking while calling for her dog, but it just bolted away in fear. Then, she looked ahead and saw nothing. Confused, she reached out to touch it, and it felt like she had bumped into glass. Feeling around, she realized the wall was connected to the mountain, with no gaps. Terrified, she looked for another way out. Finally, she saw a cabin with an elderly couple, and she was eager to ask them what was happening. The woman realizes she may be trapped behind a transparent wall in the mountains. She searches for an exit and finally sees an elderly couple, eager to call for help. She's blocked by the transparent wall. Upon closer look, she notices the elderly couple is still. She pounds on the wall and shouts, but no matter how loud, they can't hear her. The water in his hand flows, the leaves rustle, yet the people seem frozen. The eerie atmosphere makes her shiver. Breathing quickens. She panics, steps back, and calls her dog to run. Trapped in the Alps, she checked the wall. It never vanished, and her colleague was gone. One morning, a noise startled her, but it was a dream. Relieved, she touched the wall. She drove into the wall, but it stayed. She heard noises and found a kitten. It was big, blocking the door. The woman screamed, then woke up from a dream. She opened the door, relieved the wall was still. She remembered a cabin visit and seeing an elderly couple, eyes wide open. Determined, she decided to break through the wall. She drove her sports car, music loud, thinking, if I don't succeed, I'll go all in. The car crashed, injuring her, but the wall stayed. On a rainy, trapped for 121 days, she heard noises and found a kitten. She rescued it, joining her dog, cow, and herself in survival. With food low, she learned to plant, hunt, and care for the cow. Adapting to mountain life, she found peace with her animals. Then, she discovered a map in a wrecked car. The woman saved him, and now she had another companion, a cat, a cow, a dog, and herself, all relying on each other in this big mountain. The food in the house was running low, so to feed her little family of 4, the woman started learning survival skills. She tilled the ground to plant potatoes, took a hunting rifle up the mountain to hunt, and cut grass for the cow to prepare food. She even learned to help the cow birth. As winter turned to spring, the woman adapted to life in the mountains. She not thought how to get out and released her longing for the outside world. Spending her life here with sunshine, her dog, and fresh air seemed pretty good. But on this particular day, she suddenly found a map in a wrecked car. The woman has been trapped behind an invisible wall in the Alps for 3 years. This wall is unseen and cannot be broken. Outside the wall, there are 2 eerie old men who have been standing still for 3 years, leaving her unsure if they are alive, dead, or even human. One day, she discovers a map on an abandoned car, reigniting her hope of escaping. The next day, she makes her way to the other side of the mountain, where she finds a strange dead tree with tattered clothes hanging from it, resembling a human figure. The woman quickened her pace and walked deeper into the mountains until the next day, when she saw the wood behind a logging truck swaying strangely. It seemed that someone had moved it just a second ago. He slowly approached, but the stick in his hand was suddenly blocked. It was the wall again. Then the woman walked all over the Alps, and finally found that the hidden wall was like a big cover, tightly surrounding the mountain. There was no way out at all. He walked back disappointedly with the dog. Before she could get home, her dog suddenly took off running. The woman hurried to catch up. Finally, she saw the first living person in 3 years, but this hungry man immediately tried to kill her dog. In a panic, she rushed back home to grab her shotgun. She shot the man, but her dog also died. Heartbroken, she picked up her dog, devastated, while the man lay in a pool of blood. Not caring where he came from, she simply threw him down the valley. Home, the woman picked up her pen again to write in her diary. This would be her last entry, as every side of every piece of paper was already filled. In a survival story, the protagonist eventually encounters humanity and returns home. But this film doesn't show us that hope. It leaves us with endless loneliness.